We're trying to see if it's working. I don't know what's happening. Is anybody on right now? Can anybody see us?
I think it's like one of those things where like you get over 40 and then all of a sudden stuff like this happens. Like we'd be like, I don't know, is it on? Can anybody see us?
Is it on?
Can
Okay, Raquel got
Oh, we just see
right.
Raquel. Okay. Oh, I think it's working.
Yeah.
Hey Tasha, how are you?
Okay.
What's up,
Some
Tasha Blue Riz?
technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Dave, brother Dave.
So
Okay, yeah. So now
we're gonna do this again. Happy Coffee Date Monday.
Yes.
You guys. Good to see you guys on here.
See?
Happy Coffee Date Monday.
yeah, I don't know if you guys heard earlier, but it's been one of those days. Monday.
It's been a crazy Monday. First of all, my workout killed me. I literally was like laid out in the garage.
Today was leg day. It was tough for me today.
Today was hard.
Then we go out in the back, and our neighbor lets me know, hey, your water system, your drip system is flooding his backyard. He's a really nice guy. I just met him, so they've moved here. They've probably been here almost maybe about 8 months. My first time meeting him behind us. Really nice guy, but we're gonna bless him. He blessed us. We're gonna make sure we take care of
So
his
he's
stuff.
the neighbor's over there trying to fix his backyard
Yeah,
from the mess.
I blew it. And my neighbors next door,
I remember he came over and
Yeah.
said something. Yeah.
they said something was happening over there too. So, yeah.
My husband, the gardener, loved him so much.
Well, good morning to see y'all.
Hi, Mama Babs.
Yeah.
What's up, Mama Melinda? Good to
Hey.
see you guys.
Good to see y'all.
Man, I miss
today.
you guys. Is anybody else besides me like just really craving for a really big TBCF hug? Like,
I know.
dude, like I want one of those big
Yeah.
like. What's up? Is that my brother Damon?
That's your brother,
Hi, Damon. What's
Pastor
up, man?
Damon Davis.
How you doing? Good to
Hey,
see you.
Marlon, what's
Hi,
going on?
Marlon.
What's up, everybody?
Marlon, I feel like we've been kind of missing you lately. Like, I think maybe your work schedule or whatever, and so you'll usually like come over. I mean, you've been catching us toward the end, so it's nice to have you on.
Yeah. Ooh, look
Is
at
that Sean?
Sean.
Hi, Sean. I miss you.
Hey
I miss
guys.
you guys.
I got some great news, you guys. I've gained some weight. Oh yeah, tell Edgar I said hi. The Raiders are sorry, but anyway, I've gained some weight, guys.
Yeah, I am so happy you guys.
God is good. I've probably gained about almost 10 pounds now. Yes. So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that.
Which is good. I think it's really good. Like he's starting to look more like himself. So every day I just feel like
Gains.
he's getting back more and more to himself. You know,
Yes.
He's been in the garage working out hard every day. This is week 3 of him going out in the garage consistently doing his workouts, which is not easy, you guys. It's not really easy. Like we have a nice little gym system set up in our garage, which is really convenient, but it's not easy going out there and just kind of like really getting it like by yourself. I don't know. At least for me, I like more of the a group setting.
You
For
like the group
motivation. Yeah, like to see people working out next to me and stuff. But since school started, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, so what's happening right now, y'all, is so we have
Hi, Zena.
hey, so we have Heaven downstairs.
Yeah, her desk is set up.
Her
downstairs.
desk is downstairs.
Yeah.
And Judah's is upstairs.
Yeah. Tell them what Judah did. Let me tell you guys what Judah did.
Yeah.
Judah is like at that age where he gets embarrassed over like almost everything. So I told him, I said, hey, we can set up your desk right in the corner. And he's like, no, because then we can see you guys. My class can see you guys passing by on my Zoom. So I want to be in the other corner.
They embarrassed of us.
So we're like, okay. So we put him in the other corner. This morning, this dude puts up Mariah's old baby gate in the hallway to keep us from coming into his classroom because he wants to make sure we don't show up on his Zoom camera. I'm like,
Right.
dude, we are cool, great looking parents. Like, why would you be ashamed for your class to see us? Dude, you should be proud.
They should be.
This dude put up a baby gate.
Teenagers.
For one thing, he put up the baby gate as if we can't just step over the baby gate.
Right.
But it's like he's trying to do this verbal sort of reminder, like, don't come in here, I'm in class. Don't come in here embarrassing me. This guy. So we had to set up their school, their work areas in different areas. They needed their own space because they couldn't be next to each other because that wasn't working out. We found that out last week. They need their own designated areas. So far, today's the first day with that, and that's working out good, but we're running out of places to be. We kind of didn't want to be outside today. The air quality is still not that good, but we decided to come outside anyway.
Yeah, he's a team, but we're glad to be outside. It's okay. We'll be able to be out here unless I start
coughing or something. Yeah.
The DMZ zone for parents. Yeah, the demilitarized zone. That's what DMZ
Is that
stands for.
what that means? I don't know.
Demilitarized zone. DMZ. So, yeah. So, hey, you guys, we wanted to talk about something. First of all, I want to talk about how grateful I am to God for Him healing me and restoring me, to setting me on the path of healing, and not just healing physically, but also healing me emotionally through this whole thing. And I'm not even talking about Kai because she's gone through a lot, but there is a lot of things that I think we should learn how to be thankful for. We should be so thankful for things that God has given us that I think sometimes it's human nature to focus on the bad and not on the good.
Focus on the lack versus what we have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's almost like being grateful it has to be a learned behavior, right? Like it's something that being grateful is something we have to learn because it's more just inherent for us to just kind of be gripe and groan about what we don't have.
Gripe and groan. So you guys, even the children of Israel, and you sit down and think about it, they weren't even out of Israel yet. They were on the suburbs of Israel, right at the Red Sea.
Suburbs.
They was at the suburbs. They was at the burbs.
Yeah.
And they was upset because they were like, we're about to die. We're going to perish. And then what does God do? God does something with Moses, puts his staff up, and people run through the Red Sea on dry land. You look at miracles. And then after they're out of the Red Sea, the enemy that they've never seen before, the enemy
whom they've never seen
that they have seen before will never be seen again. And so now they're out in the wilderness, and what do? They start complaining again. And instead of looking at all of the goodness that God had done for them and everything that God had provided for them, it is in our nature, just like the children of Israel, to begin to think about the stuff that you lack instead of the provision that God gives us.
Yeah. You know, the thing is that my first thought is I put myself in their place, because when we read the story, it can be really easy for us to judge and be like, man, how could they be so ungrateful when God was doing so much for them and He came through for them, and made all these provisions ahead of time for them. And it's easy for us to be like, man, they're just so ungrateful. But when I put myself in their place, one of the things I really feel like that messed them up was food. Dude, I'm serious. Like, I know it sounds bad, but if you put me somewhere and I don't know when we're eating, and then the stuff that we do have to eat is not good, and there's only a little bit of it, which basically means portion control. Okay, so there was a lot of things that were happening out there that was even though that the children of Israel were all together, it was a individualized, sacrificial, learn to be self-disciplined journey, which I feel a lot of us, we struggle with that day to day. You guys, look, all of me and John's arguments when we go on vacation is about food. Like, I am not lying to you guys. Like, we will have a great time. The kids will be having a great time. All the accommodations are excellent. And then all of a sudden, we have a communication breakdown and somebody's upset because I don't know when John plans on feeding me. Like, that's what. But how many years have we been married? 16 years, right? We've gotten a lot better where John will actually incorporate eating into our itinerary because this guy will not include eating in our vacation itinerary. Like, he feels like it's a waste of time. He feels like eating, traveling for food, figuring out what we gonna eat. He feels like it's a waste of time. He doesn't like to stop the movement for food. Like, he thinks it's frivolous. Like, he thinks it's meaningless. He doesn't understand it. Like, why would we do that? Let's just keep going. And I'm like, because we're hungry. And he's like, but we had breakfast. I'm like, but dude, it's 5 o'clock at night. Like, we need lunch. We need dinner. To him, he doesn't understand the whole food thing, you guys. And so if I'm ever upset on our vacations, I'm mad because he doesn't plan on feeding me. Like,
Preach, Kevin.
He doesn't think it's important.
Let me listen.
And so I feel like the children of Israel was probably out there like, what are we going to eat? I'm hungry.
Exactly.
What did they say? They were like, there's no garlic, there's no leeks. They were like, dude, we hungry out
God
here.
deals in portion control. Come on,
He
somebody.
does.
He deals
He
in
does.
portion control.
I agree.
In the morning, the manna fell from heaven.
That's true.
And it was to be brought in. You weren't supposed to take more than you're supposed to have.
Right, it was portion
control. It was just enough for each day. Come on, somebody. Yeah. Kaya is hungry. We are on a vacation in the wilderness.
Vacation to me means food.
And God, no, but she's still looking at the garlics and the leeks. And we should have perished. We should just perish out here in the wilderness.
We should just go back home.
We should go back to Egypt.
Dude,
but
let's go back home. I have food at home.
God said, no, I'm going to let the manna from heaven fall from the earth in the dew of the morning. And listen, and he said, don't be going around trying to hoard it up so that you can eat later on, right? But God supplied, and Ariel, you should know this too, that he also provided for birds for them too. I'm just gonna let you know that's meat. I just want to let you vegans know that. So he
Shots fired, Ariel.
Yeah.
He's shooting shots at you, girl.
No, but anyway.
So listen. So what I'm saying is that the whole food situation, I believe, was a big mental thing. Like, they were dealing with the whole food thing. Now, I believe that. I'm with it 100% that we are supposed to be disciplined in our mind as well as in our body. But the children of Israel, they weren't ready. They weren't there yet. So they go out of slavery where they were probably eating good, I don't know, according to them, but they had their routine. And now here we are, we're on this pilgrimage. And dude, we ain't eating like we used to eat, even though there was slavery, even though there was abuse, even though there was so many bad things going on, but they could at least take comfort in food. And I feel like that's a lot of us.
Yeah, and I mean,
and
we're talking about food, but at the end of the day, it wasn't the food, it was the complaints.
Yeah, of what they didn't have.
Of what they didn't have.
Yeah, and the focus was on that.
The focus was on what they didn't have instead of the goodness that God was giving them, and how God was a provider, that God would sustain them through the wilderness times, and that he had enough for you to eat every day, that you would not go hungry, that he was the bread of life.
Yeah.
And we get just like Eve, when the Bible says that Eve saw that the tree was good to eat,
food, yeah.
then she partook of it. Why would she look at one tree and she looked at the 10% of the trees? I'm just saying 10. That was really just one.
Yeah.
And we're talking about thousands of trees in the garden that she could have partaken of, but instead she was ungrateful and started looking at what she couldn't have. Isn't that just like us as Americans right today?
It is. It's just like us. And I'm not even gonna say us. It's just like me. Like, dude, I'm like, when we eating? Like, I'm like, and so when are we going to eat? Especially like if there's anything good going on, if there's anything bad going on, if there's anything sad going on, I'm like, so what we gonna eat? And so here it is that you could take something that you're not disciplined in, which is food, portion control, thoughts toward food, thoughts toward pleasure, whatever, thoughts toward comforting yourself with things that you shouldn't be comforting yourself in, because we should be comforting ourselves in the Lord. But the thing is that it can overshadow what the Lord wants to do in that season. And I believe what I was trying to say was the same way I look at the children of Israel, and I can easily judge them for just their lack of gratefulness. It's like, but yet at the same time, I have to look at myself every day. You know, like, what am I allowing to overshadow what the Lord is doing in my life? Because I'm focusing on, but when am I going to eat? But when am I going to sleep? But when am I going to, whatever it is that the comforts that I take in, we have to be careful not to allow that, 10% overshadow the 90% of what the Lord is doing in our life. And we as Christians, we as believers of God, we have to be disciplined in our body as well as in our mind so that those traps won't happen. We will allow those desires, those comforts, those things that we hide our pleasures in to overshadow what the Lord wants us to do. And before you know it, we're off track.
That's true.
Yeah. And so that's how we have to learn how to be grateful.
Yeah, and that's the key thing about it all. You know, I mean, we focus so much on what we don't have that we end up neglecting that which has been given to us. So even with couples, you know, when married couples get together and we love on each other, why is it that people end up in infidelity? Because they complain about, well, my wife doesn't do this. So we complain that your wife doesn't do one thing.
Yeah.
But what about the 50 things she does?
That she does do.
You guys hear me on that?
Yeah.
We get so ungrateful that we will look at that forbidden fruit, whatever it is in your wife or in your husband,
Yeah.
and as you're looking at that forbidden fruit, that you have neglected the gift of God, that he says, listen, I have given you every tree of the garden for you to eat.
Yeah.
Just don't partake of this 10%.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying 10%. There was just 2 trees that were going to be hit, which
Yeah.
was the tree of knowledge and good evil and the tree of life. And God said, don't touch neither
but
one.
everything else was,
So it's important for us to make sure that as couples that we need to take an inventory.
we do.
We have to take an inventory. The children of Israel were so ungrateful about what God had done for them.
And how he did it.
And how he did,
Yeah.
that they forgot what the goodness of God and how God had provided for them. They were just looking at the situation. They were, you know, look, we need, you know, we're complaining about Moses. We're complaining about Aaron. We're complaining about Miriam. We're complaining.
Complaining about Moses' wife.
We're complaining because we're tired of eating manna, and then we're tired of this. And it's like, wait a minute.
Ariel said bacon is the forbidden fruit.
It came off a tree. But no, you know, that's the big thing that we need to understand as Christians and people as a whole. We need to stop being ungrateful people.
Well, what does Paul say? Paul says, I've learned how to be content with a lot, and I've learned how to be content in a little. And, you know, honestly, like this week, you know, I think it was just like, it's just woman things. You know how like women, we have our moments, y'all. We have our moments where we have our highs and then we have our lows. And this week was like a hard week for me, for whatever reason, emotionally. And I literally turned to my husband one night. I can't remember what time of day it was or whatever, but I turned to him because the Lord was really dealing with me with some things. But he was showing me how my happiness or my joy or my peace or my content is not the responsibility of anybody else around me, including my husband or my kids. And I turned to my husband one night and I said, you know what, honey, I apologize for not being happy. Like, I apologize for not being happy today or not being happy this week. Like, that is not his responsibility. It is not his fault. It's all about how I'm managing my gratefulness. It's about how I'm managing my thoughts, how I am taking inventory of my blessings, and how I'm prioritizing what the Lord is doing and what the Lord has done. Because sometimes when we tend to forget the goodness and the faithfulness of the Lord, that's when resentment comes in and, oh, well, this isn't happening, or I'm so tired of picking up his socks, and I'm so tired of picking up his shoes, and I'm so tired of having to do this or having to do that. And like sometimes, honestly, it's like sometimes we have to take an inventory. It's like, whoa. And I'm so grateful to the Lord that He knows that we're always learning. Like, we have never, as long as we're on this earth, you guys, we have not arrived. Like, we're constantly having to learn and relearn. And I'm so thankful that the Lord had to shake me awake this week. Like, hey, take inventory of your thoughts and how you're managing your thoughts, and be grateful. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so I started thinking about it, and I literally just decided, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to apologize to my husband for having a little nasty attitude one day. I can't remember what day it was, but I was like,
it was more than one day.
okay, well, anyway, I was just feeling some sort of way, y'all. I was just having a day. Y'all.
She was having a couple of days.
But the Lord took me to the corner. He took me to the side, and had a little talk with me, and I appreciated that. And I was like, you know what, I apologize for that, because John is not the master of my happiness. He is not the master of my joy. The Lord is. The Lord is my portion.
So here was the key thing with Kaya is, I remember when she said that to me, and she apologized to me, and of course I'm like, you know, yeah, I forgive you, not a problem. And I looked at her and I said, we all deserve to have bad days, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But because she was self-aware,
yeah, that's the thing. That's the key.
this is emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
She had to be self-aware. Because she's having all these emotions,
mm-hmm.
but something in her that she's learned.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, I need to be self-aware. And when self-awareness will begin to go, okay, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
My emotions aren't in line. So once you become self-aware,
Mm-hmm.
then guess what? You need to be socially aware.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not happy, and because I'm not happy, then I'm probably making other people happy.
Or not happy.
Not happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So she began to realize I'm self-aware. So now I'm probably making other people unhappy
And uncomfortable.
And that's when she began to change her emotional intelligence, and it changed everything.
Yeah, it did. And the thing is that not getting caught up in condemnation, because I felt really bad too once I started really like self-examining what was going on with me, and like, because I noticed my kids was looking like, what's going on with mom? Like, what's up with mom? And I was like, well, let me take a second here. And I just appreciate the Lord for just like meeting me. Like, he met me in that moment. Like, he met me. It was almost like, I'm so glad you asked. I thought you'd never ask. Like, it was literally like, I would love to tell you or show you what's going on. And he literally helped me look within myself, like, so that I can be self-aware. And then that's when I was like, I gotta apologize to my husband, because sometimes when we take the eyes off of what we need to be looking at, like what's going on inside, we start nitpicking everything else. I start nitpicking the house. I start nitpicking what people are eating, what people are doing with their free times. I'm just nitpicking everything when really I need to be looking on the inside. You know, what's going on with Kaya, you know? So I think that's something that's really important, and that's how we can learn and continue to walk in gratefulness. You know, when we're more self-aware.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's so good.
And with self-awareness, and in this issue of being happy, in Kaya's case, I think she began to also look at everything around her. It's like, why am I so unhappy? And then like she said earlier, now I got to realize that God is my portion.
Yeah.
And now that I know that God is my portion, you could start to be thankful for the portion that God has given you.
Right.
And so when that happens, your outlook looks a whole lot different. Your perspective changes. So as your perspective begins to change, then you begin to see things a lot differently. Instead of looking like the children of Israel and talking about the garlics and leeks and everything else, you're like, man, you know what? My kids might be getting on my nerves. My husband ain't paying attention to me right now because he's acting like he's a stroke victim. But at this point, I thank God that my husband's here. I thank God for my two kids that are here. I thank God for my father-in-law that's here, that we have a house over our head, that we have electricity, that
we got food,
that we got a good neighbor that's nice, that wasn't mad at me for my sprinkler flooding his backyard. I thank God for this thing.
God is good.
So God is really good, you guys.
And I think, and one of the things that really helped me out too, because after that time meeting with the Lord, and the Lord just really showing me some stuff about Kaya, it reminded me about go around the house and start saying, I get to do this, you guys. I'm telling you guys, it helps me so much. When I get stuck in those little ruts, you guys, where I feel like I'm picking up after people time and time again, this whole homeschool thing where the kids are not leaving, like, y'all, the kids are not leaving. Like, they here all day, y'all. They here all day. They here on the weekends. Like, they not leaving. No one's coming to get them. They have nowhere to go. It's different, you know. This is different. And so saying that to myself really helps, you guys. When I go around, I say, I get to do this. I get to spend time with my daughter and disciple her and show her what a woman of God does and how a woman of God thinks and and what a godly wife looks like. I get to do this for my son. I get to show him what, you know, I get to clean this house because the Lord gave it to me. Like, I get to cook for my family because the Lord has entrusted me with this. Like, it helps so much when I say it out loud.
Yes.
It's like my soul hears it, and then my soul gets restored. You know, I get to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It really helps.
Definitely. So we wanted to encourage you guys, and we're going to talk more about it, but we have to understand is that what has God given you to be thankful for? And not just what your belongings or stuff that you have, but what about the person you're in love with? What about the person that you're in relationship and covenant with? Because sometimes we literally have to take inventory again. You know, it was not long ago that I was laying in the hospital and my brain bleeding and not knowing if I had my faculties or not. That in that point, my wife would have never, she's probably sitting there thinking, I'll never see my husband again. But then when your husband comes home, it's like, God, I thank you. You know, I thank you that I'm still walking, that I'm still walking. But look, God is grateful. God is good to us.
Yes, yes.
So we need to make sure that we need to take inventory of what God is given to us in our lives.
Yeah.
Because you guys, it's some gifts aren't here for a day. They may be gone tomorrow.
That's true.
So because of the gift that God has given us to each other, we need to make sure that we appreciate these gifts
while we have it.
I don't care if the 90 to the 10. I choose to focus on the 10% of the good that my wife has given me in her life, and I refuse to look at the 10%. I refuse it. You know, and I'm not trying to be funny, but Kaya, sometimes she has really bad morning breath. Morning breath, okay? Guys, help me out.
No, you didn't.
Great breath. Yeah. So listen. So I choose
Like he don't, y'all.
not to.
Like he don't have.
I choose not to focus on her morning breath, but I choose to thank God for my wife to be laying next to me in the morning. So I won't focus on the 1% of bad breath. Right?
This dude, y'all, I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
As if he could pick any other kind of example. Like, that's the only example that came to his mind. Like, that's the only thing he could think to say.
Mm-hmm. I did.
This guy.
No, honestly, and I'm just joking, you guys. Yeah. I just
Anybody have a place for him to stay tonight?
You guys, I would rather. There's no other place I'd rather be than to be next to my wife.
Mm-hmm.
And there's sometimes I have to, in my anger, in my rage, in my ungratefulness, I have to make sure that I have to remember the gift that God has given me in my wife. That it's not worth it. It's not worth the arguing. It's not worth anything. I would rather be grateful to God than sit back and be just like Eve and not thank God for the goodness and the provision that he's given me and allow us to look at the garden, the tree that we should have never even touched. Mm-hmm. Something that we shouldn't even listen at or look at.
The 10%, the things that we feel like we need, or we feel like our husband's not doing, or we feel like this, or we feel like that, it's a distraction and it's not worth our time. Just period. It's not worth our time. Like this week I think the past week when I was like in my little rut and not feeling some sort of way or whatever, I feel like it was more of just meeting the new challenges of what's going on, post-stroke, things that he's growing in and learning in, and just trying to figure out our new life here, church being different, home life being different, school life being different. There's so many different things happening right now, especially in our family. And it's just taking a lot. But the thing is that when we start fantasizing about what it's not, it's a distraction and it's not worth our time. And I'm telling you, saying those things out loud has really helped me this past week. Like, I get to be his wife. Like, I get to be his partner in this healing journey that he's doing. I get to walk in faith with this man in partnership with the Lord. I get to do this. Like, what an amazing privilege. Like, I am so thankful that I have a husband that's a man of God, a husband that's a man after God's own heart. Like, dude, I get to be a wife of someone like that. When we focus on, put verbiage to articulate what we get to do, I'm telling you, perfect love casts out all fear. Like, it happens. It literally, it evicts gratefulness, bitterness. It kicks it out, and it allows the perfect love to just fill the room, fill our heart. And sometimes I have to remind myself to do that. I've said that many times. I've taught people that because I know it's worked in my life, but sometimes I have to remind myself. And last week was one of those times. Like, I get to do this. And I'm telling you guys, like, this whole homeschool thing, like, I believe that it's so, I know I keep talking about it, but I'm telling you, like, I really believe the Lord is all in this thing, because so many of us have been upset with how the schools have been teaching our kids, especially us Christians. You know, it's like we have standards. Our standards are based on the Lord's standards, not America's standards. So the fact that our kids get to be at home with us, the best place that they can possibly be, God's grace is on us for this. Like, God's grace is on us, and this is the best thing that can ever happen to our kids. Like, I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of people may disagree, but I know that the Lord has called me to do this. Like, I can do this. I can help my kids through their schoolwork. I can, you know, our home is the perfect environment for our kids to learn in. We are the perfect people for our kids to learn from. We can do this, you guys, and I believe that this is all good, and it's all going to be great. So let's not focus on what it's not going to be. Let's focus on what it will be. Our kids are learning, doing what they need to do in a godly environment, safe, where we know exactly what's going on with our kids.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great. I mean, there's good things. We get to do this.
We get to do it.
We get to do this, y'all.
Yeah, every day.
Yes, God-based learning. That's right, Melinda.
For 6 days, six hours a day.
Yeah, and they're not leaving.
They ain't going
But
nowhere.
it's okay. We get to do this, and this is great. Our kids will be forever grateful and better because of this. This is the best thing that can ever happen for our kids. We get to do this.
I think what we should do is take all of our kids over to Raquel's house.
Raquel's or Rachel Hankins.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
I'm going.
Yes.
In case we want to have a teacher work day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we could drop the kids off.
Teacher work day. We'll take Lakeisha Hunter. We'll take the kids over to Lakeisha Hunters.
Yeah, we're taking the Hunters. Yeah.
And over the Melvins too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Melvins.
Yeah.
Melvins. Yeah.
Take
We got
kids.
plans. We got plans.
We got plans, y'all.
It's a teacher co-op.
For real.
But God is so good, man. When we focus on what we do have and what the Lord is doing, we aren't distracted with the 10%. It's not worth our time.
Yeah. So, hey, you guys, I want to tell you guys something too. Is as we're watching what's going on throughout the media and everywhere else, I wanted to share something about being ungrateful. Is that we've gotten so focused on what's happening outside and what's going on that we have not thanked God for just waking us up today. Just that simple. We're so busy looking at who's died, who isn't dead, who's in prison, who's in jail, who's winning the election, who's not winning the election, who's running for president or vice president. We're so busy looking at all these different things that we have forgot just to go, you know what, God, I thank you. I thank you. We're so busy looking at this stuff, and we'll give God 10% of the gratefulness, and 90% of your day is complaining about what's on TV and what's on social media. I hope y'all hearing me. We literally need to make sure that we are grateful people.
That we are grateful people.
Yeah.
That's good.
We have to be.
Yeah, Ariel, it's a great time to fast.
For sure.
It's always a great time to fast. Like, fasting should totally be a part of our routine, our day, like all the time. Like a fast day once a week is the most perfect thing. The thing is that I feel like if, like, for instance, going back to the children of Israel and the whole relationship with food, so that it doesn't become a distraction when it's time for the pilgrimage. Like, I'm just saying, like, whatever is about to happen, like, if we are people that are disciplined in our body as well as in our mind, we're ready for whatever's next. And it doesn't become our lack of discipline doesn't become a distraction to whatever going to the next level is, whatever the glory to glory, whatever the, strength to strength looks like, whatever that 2 section feels like or looks like, we're ready for it because we're disciplined in our mind as well as in our body. So yeah, fasting is a huge part of that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, it's not something that we should do. Is that the way to say it?
It's not if we do it.
Right.
But it's when we do it.
When we do it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand as far as
being Christians.
yeah, people always want to hear what God has to say, but we don't want to push the plate away. That rhymed.
Oh, bars?
Did you get that? It was bars.
You have bars?
Yeah. Anyway, you guys, we're not going to be on here too long today.
Don't want to hold you guys.
We just wanted to encourage you to be grateful people
in all seasons.
Yes, and give thanks to God always. Let the praises continually be in your mouth.
Yeah.
You should always be grateful for what God has done and what He's doing, even when things look bad.
Yep. No matter what it looks like.
No matter what it looks like, you never know what God is up to during your these hard times right now. You never know what God is doing. You never know what's happening. So just be grateful in all things. Give thanks.
That's right.
Amen.
We love you guys. Thank y'all for rocking with us today.
Yeah, I didn't even finish
Bye,
my coffee.
Zena. I totally finished mine. I'm thinking coffee number 2 is in my future.
She don't need it.
You guys, this Nespresso machine, if y'all don't have one, y'all should look into it. It is changing my life. I am loving it.
So
loving it.
She's on it. She's on one.
Love you guys so much.
Yeah, we'll see you guys Sunday. And hey, for all of you guys that are a part of the Building Christian Fellowship, I believe to check your email because there has been a questionnaire that has been sent out to all the family, an anonymous questionnaire. If you guys will please check your inboxes, your junk mail, and fill those out and send them back. Praise God. I'm just thanking God that all this COVID and craziness will be over soon, and that we will get back to, guys, ready for this word, getting back to being normal.
What is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Whatever that is.
Whatever it is.
I've never been normal, so.
No, you have not.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yep.
Love y'all.
All right. We love you guys. Te amo. Bye-bye.
Bye.